Welcome back to Rodecast, guys. Hope y'all doing well out there. I'm your host, Rod, as always. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the aftermath of an ICE raid that took place in Pennsylvania and the unbelievable response from the open borders, bleeding heart progressives out here who are literally crying for the illegals that were arrested here. This was unbelievable for me.
Yeah, Tracy, I can tell you it looks calm now, but a lot of people are feeling concerned. Federal agents showed up here to the Super Gigante Farmers Market earlier today. They were conducting a search warrant. We are told several people were taken into custody, including at least one worker. ICE agents on the ground in West Norriton this morning taking more than 12 individuals into custody as outraged community members looked on and some tried intervening.
This is illegal. I can't stand this. We got to stop it somehow. I don't know what to do.
ICE tells NBC 10 federal agents from Homeland Security Investigations and the IRS were at the Super.
Okay, let's back up for a second. This woman just said this is illegal. This is literally legal. It has been signed off. They had a search warrant signed off by a federal judge in order to do this, okay? And they have no idea who they arrested here. Just because somebody works at some grocery store doesn't mean that there can't be a criminal. The assumptions built into these people are amazing.
This is illegal.
No, what you're doing should be illegal. It's very close to illegal, which is trying to help out a bunch of criminals evade the police. That's what they're doing, okay? Now, technically, they do have First Amendment rights, but this is a very iffy area where, yes, you have the right to speak, but you also can't be aiding and abetting criminals, okay? And if you specifically are helping an individual criminal escape, that is a literal crime that you can be arrested for. Here, they're just using a megaphone to just scream lunatic things out, trying to help these people, which is in a blurry area. But if they were like literally putting a criminal into their car and helping them escape, that would be a crime that they can go to prison for.
This is illegal.
It is literally legal. They're literally following a judge's order. They had a warrant. They made it very clear what they were doing. And so there can't be any complaints. And all the ICE agents were dressed in their uniforms. It said ICE police on them. So they identified themselves and they had a warrant. And they're still complaining. And this one is literally crying. Okay, it's always the most English looking woman too. Okay, the most amount of white guilt is in these people, especially from the Northeast area, where a lot of Northern Europeans and especially English people are. Okay, in the Northeast and New England, this is the place with the most amount of white guilt, bleeding their hearts out, and self-hatred. This is the worst place, and I love it. I love these people because they're my people. But nevertheless, okay, most of them have been here like my ancestors since the 1600s, but they hate their own kind so much, and that's why they want these foreigners to be here, and they feel so guilty anytime anybody who doesn't look white, anytime something happens to those people, they start like literally killing themselves. And look at this woman. I guarantee you she wasn't crying this hard when Laken Riley was murdered by an illegal, or Rachel Morin, or any of the other girls who have been killed.
She wanted to be a veterinarian when she was older. She was very funny. She was just full of life. She loved her family. She had high functioning autism, and she worked so hard to become independent, and she found a job that she loved and that she could do well. Your heart gets ripped out from you, and your stomach just drops. Aberdeen Police Department said that it was a juvenile and that they arrested him on January 15th of 2023. About a couple weeks later, they did a press release stating that he was a illegal immigrant who was a known MS-13 gang member. I thought the border, Homeland Security under the Biden administration was doing their job. These are not all children that are coming across the border. These are also vicious, violent gang members who come across the border and do not care about a human life.
No, actual white women in America. She doesn't care about them. But some freaking taco eaters get deported out of here, and she's losing her mind.
Stop it somehow. I don't know what to do.
ICE tells NBC 10 federal agents from Homeland Security Investigations and the IRS were at the Super Gigante Farmers Market conducting a federal court-authorized search.
I just saw all this commotion, people here, and all this stuff going on, and I asked somebody what's going on, and they're telling me that these ICE people are coming and taking people, and I can't take it. What is anybody doing about this?
In a state,
What is anybody doing about the animals who are coming across the border and raping and murdering women like you, white women? And sometimes even black women. What is anybody doing about that? The answer is the ICE raids. That's what somebody's doing. So there's somebody called Trump who many of us have problems with, but at least he's doing his best to get these disgusting criminals out of our country. And this woman is crying, literally. Okay, where were her tears for Laken Riley's parents who had to endure the death of her daughter because of the open borders policies of the last and many other administrations? This woman was not crying this hard for Laken Riley. She probably doesn't even know who Laken Riley is. Okay, that's the situation we're in. We got people crying for illegal aliens who invaded our country as opposed to actual American women who've been murdered by them. This is the misfiring of empathy that a lot of white people have and other natives, white people and black people. If you look at the crowd here, it's a bunch of FBAs and FWAs, okay? Foundational black and white Americans who care more about foreigners than their own people in our own country. This is the sad situation we're in. This is what happens when you don't obey nature's laws, okay? Tribalism is a thing for a reason because you're supposed to care about your tribe. For hundreds of thousands of years, since the beginning of Homo sapiens, we have been a tribal society. We've lived in tribal societies and we're supposed to care about our own tribe. But we got one here, a woman who doesn't even give a damn about her own tribe, but cares about other tribes more than her tribe. This is going against nature's law, and it doesn't end up well.
Anybody doing about this?
in a statement, an ICE spokesperson says during the execution of the search warrant, 14 individuals were encountered who did not have legal status to be in the United States. These 14 individuals were taken into ICE custody pending removal proceedings. How many people did you see being put into the back of cars?
6.
Activist Stephanie Vincent recorded this video showing agents taking those individuals she saw into custody.
The Latino community is terrified.
Good, then maybe the Latino community can go back to their own countries, because this is not a Latino country. This is an Anglo-Saxon country and a Nordic country, occupied by and colonized by people from Northern and Western Europe. That's what this country is. Okay, people who came here from other places have no place here, and they shouldn't have any rights here because they didn't build the 13 colonies. They didn't build this country. They didn't do Western expansion. They have no rights to be here. This one does have a right to be here, but she's more worried about the illegals who broke in here yesterday than the native people of this country who colonized it. People like my ancestors who came here in the 1600s. She doesn't care about us at all, but she cares about Juan who broke in yesterday.
Not only are people afraid to go out, but people feel like they're hated.
I wonder why. Maybe it's because of their disgusting food, their disgusting culture, their even more vile language. I can't stand Spanish. Maybe it's because of that. Did you ever think about that? Maybe us real Americans don't want them here. Did you think about that? Of course you do. Why don't you go to Mexico if you love them so much?
That they're not wanted.
They aren't. They're not wanted, and they are hated. I'll be happy to say that. You can get mad all you want. You're right. You're absolutely right. Maybe so they should leave back to their own countries where they don't have to be hated, where they can live with their own people. Just like I want to live with my own people.
People are afraid to go out, but people feel like they're hated, that they're not wanted. There's children crying at night and worried about their parents being taken.
Well, they can go back to their own countries and they don't have to worry. That's why you have to cry at night, because you're criminals and you're in a country that you don't belong.
Taken from them.
And this is just one of several ICE raids in Montgomery County recently. I did reach out to all 3 county commissioners today, but have not heard back.
Yeah, there's nothing that county commissioners can do. So, yes, it's amazing. The very ground that the founding fathers walked in, these people don't appreciate it. They want these states. I care very much about the original 13 colonies. Pennsylvania is where a lot of Swedish and Dutch people settled. So that's my ancestors who built this colony and now this state. Okay, the foundation of this state. But the people there now are spitting on my ancestors and their own English ancestors. who also colonized that place. So they're spitting on the founding fathers and the ground that they walked on by letting these disgusting illegals swamp into our country to infest our country. Okay. So I get very angry because of the fact that the New England area and the Northeast is so disgustingly open borders progressive, because it's the greatest insult to the founding fathers, who would have not been in favor of any of these people coming into our country. Okay, if you knew anything about them, they didn't even want the Irish coming here. So we can guess how they would feel about all these people who are speaking Spanish, these Hispanics coming here. Okay, they didn't even want the Irish here. That's how the founding fathers and their generation felt. And anybody who knows history knows that. But anyways, that's all I got to say for this video. I'm very disappointed in how New England area and Northeast has turned out. It makes me sick every time I think about it, so I try not to. But this is the reality that we live with. We have people here who are native people here, whose ancestors colonized this land, but are worried more about not about their own people, but about foreigners. It's vile to me. But anyways, that's the situation we arrive in. That's why we have a lot of problems. But that's all I got to say for this video. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and welcome to all my new subscribers. Hope you're enjoying the show, and I'll see you guys all in my next one. Stay safe out there.